On today's episode of TITS, we have a friend. Looks like old boy crawled under the transformer that was very loosely mounted and got squeezed. We've got an SVT350 head-in for no sound. And I think this is going to be the perfect amp to show my deep cleaning process. As you can see, she's very crusty and dusty, but we're going to fix that. Along with the actual thing that's wrong with it. So I'm going to start by taking everything out of the chassis. I apologize for the poor shots in this episode. When I've got a big unit in on the bench like this, it's kind of hard for me to figure out the camera angles. I'm still getting the hang of it. So we're going to take the power amp section out first. And then we're going to go in on that preamp section. Now that's where the problem lies. So this amp took a big tumble and all of the sliders on the EQ potentiometers got knocked off, as well as all of the knobs. Those are nowhere to be seen, and the gain, volume, and tone control potentiometers are falling apart. It looks like they got ripped completely open. We're going to start by desoldering all of the busted tone and gain pots. And I'm actually going to do what some might call a pro gamer move. Now I'm going to dig through my resistor collection. Yes, I actually do live like this. And I'm going to pull out some resistors that are the equivalent value of the potentiometer. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to install them in place of the potentiometer. That way I can put everything back together and make sure that sound is coming out of the unit. That way I can be absolutely sure that there is nothing wrong with the preamp board or the power amp board, and the only issue is these busted tone controls. So here we have the preamp board. I've installed resistors in place of all the potentiometers. And I'm going to go ahead and test it. In theory, for a 350 watt amp, this should be blowing the roof off the place. We'll get back to that later. So now that I know the only thing wrong with this amplifier is the busted tone pots and EQ sliders, I'm just going to go ahead and replace them. Well, I'm just going to replace the EQ sliders. I did actually figure out a way to rebuild, put back together the tone potentiometers, but I forgot to take a video of that, so you're just gonna have to take my word on it, I guess. But here I am, desoldering the EQ sliders. Always clean the flux, even after desoldering. Look how clean that board is. So I'm going to start by populating the board. Try to bend the pins a little bit to keep them in place. And now I'm just going to solder one lead of these 3 lead potentiometers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat that one lead up that I soldered and push them into place so that they're perfectly aligned. I'm just going to go ahead and do that for all of them. And then I should be good to go to finish soldering them. Always clean the flux. And before I can install the tone potentiometers, I have to uninstall the resistors that I put in their place to run that test. So I just wanted to show the little metal tabs on the four corners of this potentiometer. That's the only thing keeping them together. So what happened was, when it took a tumble, those metal tabs bent and everything came apart. Honestly, we're pretty lucky that, you know, these parts weren't lost. So all I had to do was carefully put the innards back into the potentiometer and bend those metal tabs back over. So we're just going to go ahead and install those again, and we should be ready for the next step. It's time to unbox a new weapon in the amplifier cleaning arsenal. Now remember, folks, if you have need, please contact us in time. Alright, that's what we like to say here at Fubar Labs. Now what I got here is a grout scrubber. This is a bit of a well-kept secret among the one person that I worked with in aerospace, who figured out that this is an amazing tool for removing dust and crust from electronic devices. Now we're going to start bath time with this absolutely disgusting intake fan. Now, I know what you're thinking. Electronics in water? That's not a regulation move. Well, as long as you make sure that everything is absolutely completely dry before you put any electricity through it, you can wash just about any electronic component, which leads me to the real secret of this operation. Mom's hair dryer. Now you really do not want any water in an electronic component when you turn it on. So the heat and the high air speeds of a hair dryer is really critical to this bath time operation. And would you look at that? Clean as a whistle. Now I searched high and low to find replacement knobs for this amplifier, and for whatever reason I could not find them. I just happened to have an old Crate branded amp in the shop, which is manufactured by SLM Electronics, the same company that manufactures Ampeg, and it just happened to have knobs that fit on this SVT. So they're also getting a bath, and I'm going to throw them on this amplifier for the customer. Shout out to Quentin Reviews for the 42-hour Beverly Hillbillies analysis. What a lifesaver.
Joe asked what it means, and Alex says this is a cemetery. They're all
The knobs did try running away, but I'm smarter than the average bear.
Alright. Special blend of tobacco. And how it...
Cleaner than a whistle, if I do say so myself. Even though this one knob's got some mystery gunk on it that won't come off, but we can ignore that. Next up, we're going to clean the intake fan grate. Next, we're going to get to work cleaning the power transformer and the rubber flap for the power transformer. Now, obviously, I'm not going to submerge the whole power transformer in water. That would be a little excessive, but I am going to give it a wipe down with the damp rag and make sure it's nice and dry and all that. And then we're going to remove the power switch so that can get bath time, and we're going to start giving the chassis a wipe down. Now, because this is a steel chassis, you really don't want to let water sit on it, so as soon as I wiped it down, I did dry it off very thoroughly. Look how clean that switch is. Now, it would not be a proper guitar amp repair without a little side quest. So if I'm going to borrow my mom's hairdryer, I'm at least going to have the decency to make sure it's not a fire hazard when I give it back to her. So I'm just going to disassemble it and clean the decades of schmoo out of it before I give it back. Now with a proper side quest out of the way, we're going to start reassembling this guitar amp. Now I'm going to be honest, as a technician, I do heavily judge guitar amps based on how easily they can be maintained. And as far as maintenance ability goes with this SVT, I do have to give it like an 8 out of 10. I really do appreciate when an amp is easy to take apart and easy to put back together like this. Sometimes you get an amp all the way back together and it still ain't fixed. So the problem is when I plug it in, it's very quiet, which this is a 350 watt amp, it should not have that problem. But when I connect the effects loop, it's very loud, which is how it should be. So I'm hoping all I gotta do is pull this board out again and finagle with these effects loop jacks. And man, I just want to clean my bench off. So let's get it done. So I was right. All I had to do was pull the power amp board out and retension one of the effects loop jacks, and it worked good as new. Good as just repaired. So I'm going to leave you with some before and after pictures of the cleaning and sound clip. Thanks for watching.